Hi, my name is Dorothy, and I'm a librarian at the Thomas Crane Library in Quincy. I'm here today to tell you about a series of books I think you might enjoy, and it's one of my absolute favorites for babies and toddlers. It's Olivier Dunray's Gossie and Friends books. I'll tell you a little bit more about Gossie and Gertie. In Gossie and Gertie, Dunray's really beautiful and simple ink and watercolor illustrations capture the range of emotions felt by these two adorable goslings and best friends, Gossie and Gertie. Preschoolers will get a kick out of Gossie's increasing frustration as she goes from a confident leader, whom Gertie will follow anywhere, to being slightly irritated and confused that her friend is now content to follow her own whims. Now, 15 of Olivier Dunray's Gossie and Friends books are now available on Hoopla, which means that you can read them right away. You don't need to wait for holds. If anybody would like help downloading the Hoopla app, or if you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call, or you can chat with a librarian at thomascranelibrary.org. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
My name is Jessie. I work for the Thomas Crane Public Library, and I'm a big fan of mysteries and thrillers. That's why I was surprised by how much I loved The Raven Cycle, a popular young adult 4-book series by Maggie Stiefvater that begins with the Raven Boys. If you enjoy character-driven novels, intricate plots with near-perfect pacing and settings that you can practically touch and feel, no matter what your age, this series is worth your time. It explores themes of love, privilege, family, friendship, loyalty, redemption, and loss, all with humor and sensitivity. As soon as I met Blue Sargent, a public school senior who has been told all her life that her kiss will kill the person she loves, and prep school poster boy Richard Gansey, who drives a vintage orange Camaro, I was pulled into a world of ordinary witches, magical ley lines, and a quest that would bring Blue and Gansey and their misfit family of eccentric Raven Boys into a race to cheat death. You definitely want to read this series in order. It starts with the Raven Boys, then the Dream Thieves, Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and finally the Raven King. All 4 are available on Hoopla and Overdrive as ebooks and e-audiobooks, and the audio production narrated by Will Patton is fantastic. Thank you, and happy reading.
Hi everyone, Shane here, reference librarian at the Thomas Crane Library, and today on Shane's Suggestions, I will be talking to you about the movie The Sound of Noise. First off, I just want to say that I knew almost nothing about the film before watching it. Apart from knowing that it was Swedish, and it somehow involved a drummer wearing a balaclava, I had no idea of what I was getting into. Now with that said, I was pleasantly surprised when the film turned out to be a wildly entertaining tale about a cat and mouse chase between Amadeus, a tone-deaf policeman who absolutely hates music, and Zana, an idealistic musician who becomes the ringleader of a terrorist group whose choice of weapon happens to be music. So for anyone who's in the mood for an imaginative crime comedy, this is definitely for you.
Welcome! My name is Amanda, and I'm one of the children's librarians at the Thomas Crane Public Library in Quincy, Massachusetts. This video is part of our DIY Children's Program resources. For more program resources, as well as ebooks, streaming movies, TV, music, and much more, please visit thomascranelibrary.org. Today, we're going to do an earthquake activity. We'll be making a building out of toothpicks and clay, then shaking it like it's in an earthquake using a homemade shake table using simple materials. For this activity, you will need toothpicks or something similar. You will need clay or Play-Doh. You will need 2 pieces of stiff cardboard. I've cut mine to be just about 10 inches tall by a foot long. Finally, you're going to need 2 large rubber bands. You can use really big ones like these if you have them, or regular ones like this if you don't. And last, you're going to need 2 tennis balls or something similar. You want them to be about this size, and you want them to be pretty firm. You don't want them to squish too easily. You also want them to not be too smooth on the outside. And we'll see why when we start making our shake table. Here we see our materials. The first thing we're going to do is wrap our rubber bands around our 2 pieces of cardboard. Now, cardboard is made in such a way that it actually has ridges. You can see them. It's these vertical lines going up and down. If we were to put the rubber bands across the cardboard this way, it would make the cardboard curl and bend. So we're going to put the cardboard sandwiched like this and add the rubber bands across so that they're going in the same direction as the ridges inside the cardboard. We want the rubber bands to be spaced out so that there's a couple of inches on either end and several inches in the middle. Next, we're going to take our tennis balls and slide them inside, parting the cardboard and putting the tennis balls in between so that one rests in between each piece of cardboard under the rubber bands. You want to get them pretty even, so you may need to play around with them a little bit after you get them in there. Now, if I hold the cardboard on the bottom like this, and using my other hand pull sideways, when I let go, it shakes. So our next step is going to be to build a building. I've built a very simple building on top of my cardboard. All I used was Play-Doh and toothpicks. I don't recommend using Lego for this. The Lego will lock together very nicely, but then you won't get to see what happens as much when you shake it, and Lego doesn't stick to the base. Now, I'm going to hold down the bottom layer of cardboard and using my other hand, stretch and release. As you can see, my building fell down. Not completely, but it certainly isn't standing as tall as it was. Can you build a building that can withstand that sort of shaking? Can you make your shake table shake even more? Try using different rubber bands or different size balls in between. Remember at the beginning when I said the reason why we want balls with a grippy side is for a reason that I would explain later. And this is so that it holds onto the cardboard. If you have balls that are too slippery, they'll just slide out from in between the cardboard. Different types of balls or different stretchinesses of rubber bands might give you different results. Same for if you try using different materials to build your building, or if you try to build your building taller or shorter. See what happens when you change things up. Scientists who study earthquakes and building stability use fancy electric shake tables to do this same thing, but we can do it in our own homes with simple materials. See what you can change and what changes about how the building falls down, or can you get your building to stay up? Thanks for watching.
Hello and welcome to Boredom Busters with Miss Sam. If you've ever wanted to be an astronaut or a secret agent, today is your day because we are going to be making our very own DIY jetpacks out of recycled materials, of course. So let's talk materials, shall we? For this craft, you're going to need 2 big plastic bottles, and you can use 2-liter soda bottles, or in my case, I'm going to use 2 orange juice bottles, because that's just what I have. You're going to need some duct tape, of course, because what craft do we do that doesn't involve duct tape? And of course, you're going to need some scissors as well. And if you don't have child-safe scissors at home, I definitely recommend that the adults take the reins on the scissors. And lastly, you're going to need a small square of cardboard that you can cut out of any Amazon box or delivery box that you've received recently. But you just want it to make sure that the square is just a little bit smaller than the 2 bottles. So let's get started. To start, you're going to want to tape your 2 bottles together using the duct tape. So let's do that. I think the best way to do this is to just mush them together. Oh no. Don't tape them like that. Just mush them together and just tape one side, and then, see, this is why some projects are better to do with 2 people. Ain't that the truth? And you're just gonna take the tape and wrap it around as best we can. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, so that should be enough to at least go around once. Oh my God. Somebody help me. And sometimes your duct tape is very messed up. Okay. Okay, at least they're taped together. That's all we can hope for, right? So now they're together, our 2 fuel tanks, shall we say. And now you're going to want to make your jetpack straps out of the duct tape. And you want them to be pretty long because they're going to be wrapping around your shoulders. So since I'm an adult, supposedly, I'm going to be making mine pretty long. And we'll just let the tape go like that. And cut it. So now you have your one long piece of tape. This is going to be one strap. And what you're going to want to do with this tape is to fold it in half so that, because you don't want to actually tape the straps onto your body. Nobody wants duct tape on them like that. So just do your best to fold it in half and make a makeshift strap out of it. And as always, we'll see how this goes. My strap is already getting a little lumpy and bumpy. So as we always say, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try your best. And as long as it's mostly functional, your kid will have a blast. Okay, so here's one of my straps. And I'm just going to put that to the side for now. And because I need to make another one. And you can always measure. Ooh. You can. Oh my gosh. So many technical difficulties with this craft because of the duct tape. So you can always measure them to make sure they're roughly the same size. And cut it. And fold, of course. So we're just gonna fold that, fold it in half. Oh, it's much easier the second time. Practice really does make a difference. Okay, so our 2 straps, and let me hold them up for everyone to see. One's a little longer than the other, so I am gonna trim it. There we go. But we have our two straps, and now we need to figure out how to connect them to our jetpack so that we can actually wear our jetpacks. So to do that, you're going to want to take your square and place it on top of what's going to be the back of your jetpack. So whatever you want to be the back, you can pick which side. And you're going to want to also duct tape this, because this is how it's going to prop up against your back, because the bottles are rounded, so that's not going to feel good on your back. So I'm just going to do that first. And I want to cover all of it because I kind of want it to look very nice and metallic-y for aesthetic. So I'm going to cut a couple more strips. Me and this duct tape are having a rough day. Okay, so then it should kind of look like this. Very, very shiny, as you can see. And now we're ready to tape our straps onto the jetpack. So we're just gonna want like a little bit of tape. You don't need that much. And we're gonna take our strap and tape it to one side of the jetpack. And we're going to take our other strap and tape it to the back as well. This is to the cardboard portion. And tape that as well. Oh my goodness. Just gonna use this tape. And then we're also gonna want to tape it to the front of the jetpack because that's how we make a strap. And let's see, I'm gonna need some more duct tape for this. This might end up using all of the duct tape in your house. Who knows? Okay. Then we'll tape it onto this. All right. And as you can see, I taped it to the front kind of upside down and pulled it up and then just taped it like that. So with that, I mean, you can, like I always say, you can always decorate it more, color it, cover it with different colored paper or anything like that. But we are basically done. Another thing that you can always do is add some colored paper, or if you have extra felt at home, you can cut out little flames and have it coming out of the bottom, out of the tops, I guess, of the jetpacks. But since mine is made out of orange juice containers, I'm just pretending that this is fire. So let's try it on and see how it looks. Oh boy. All right. Looks like I'm ready to blast off. Look at that. So then you can always do some imaginative play with your kid and really go wild with it. But enjoy, and if you make it, please post it on the library Facebook page and let me see what you've made. I always like to see what people make. But this has been a Boredom Buster, and have a great day.
Hi everybody, my name is Paul. I'm one of the librarians at Thomas Crane Public Library, and we are happy to see you today on TCPL at Home. And I am here today with my colleague and fellow librarian at Thomas Crane Public Library, Eileen. Eileen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Paul. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, I'm happy to have you here. I'm also happy to talk today about Hoopla. You'll see that's our topic for today. It's a resource we've had for a little while at Thomas Crane Public Library, and it's one of my favorite applications that we have. It offers a wide assortment of materials, and maybe, Eileen, you could tell us a little bit about what the Hoopla has to offer.
Well, Hoopla is a fantastic resource. It's one of my favorites too. It offers a variety of formats. It offers ebooks, audiobooks, movies, music, television episodes, comic books, all for free. It's a free app, a free service, and it's something that people of all ages can enjoy. There's an amazing amount of children's materials as well as adult materials.
Well, and one of the things I like about it is how easy it is to use. Whenever somebody comes to the library and asks about ebooks, they haven't used them before, or they're very new to using them, I always go straight to Hoopla because of how easy it is to use and how often I use it for myself, for my family. It just, it's one of those applications that really, I think, makes the transition to ebooks and digital content, especially for people checking out at the library, much easier.
Yep, definitely is great. And you can use it in a variety of technology. You can use it on a desktop, a laptop. It works on Android phones. It works on Apple phones. And it just is just so versatile. And it's really, really a fun little application that we offer. So,
and like I said, it's very easy to use. If you have your library card, you'd need your PIN number for Thomas Crane Public Library, and you'd be able to access it. And we access it all the time. And so I think let's talk a little bit about what we've used it for recently. And we will start with something from you.
Yeah, I have recently listened to, as an audiobook, Eat, Drink, and Be Healthy by Walter C. Willett. He's a medical doctor and a doctor of public health at Harvard. The book was published in 2017 and offers a lot of up-to-date material about how to eat healthy. This is my go-to reference book on eating better, and it's something that I have listened to at the gym and walking around before a few times. It'll tell you what carbs are good, what carbs are bad, because not all carbs are bad. It'll tell you some recipes, a meal plan list, a lot of so much valuable information, and it's not boring either. I was really engaged with his voice, and I really enjoyed it, and it's something I'll go back to often over again. So
well, and we know that the narrator, the person reading the book, can make or break an audiobook sometimes.
No, most definitely. Yeah.
And having an audiobook on here is a great example. You mentioned you took it to the gym. These items can be downloaded to an iPod or an iPad, and so you can. They are more mobile. That way.
Definitely. Yep. You can download them. You don't need a Wi-Fi connection after you download them, and then you can just listen or read on a plane. And once you have it in airplane mode, it still will work if you downloaded it. And it's just so great to have. And I wanted to also mention that it's 7 checkouts a month. So at each calendar month, you'll get another 7. So definitely don't lose them, because they don't roll over. So you'll just go over another 7 after the month is over.
Right, and Hoopla likes to send that email out at the end of the month to remind you have so many credits left to use.
I know, and you're like, oh, I gotta do it.
Right. You feel like you're missing out if you don't use them.
Yeah. Tell me about one of yours, Paul. Curious.
Oh, sure. Well, this one is actually one that my wife has read and recommended. We're at home right now with our son, who's 2.5, and she was reading about the Montessori toddler by Simone Davies. And interesting book, just a different style of parenting than we knew about, and allows you to approach your child maybe more from their perspective and learn how to engage them differently. And just another toolkit for those who have kids at home, whether you send them to daycare or you're staying home with them currently. So it was a very interesting book, and it had a lot of tips that I found useful, but it's one of those things you can kind of pick and choose what
Right.
you like from that toolkit.
Yeah, that's the great thing about nonfiction. Like, why I love listening to nonfiction instead of reading it, when you can just kind of zone out for a second and then come back and you'll still get some great information. You don't have to remember about characters or plot or anything. That's just something I enjoy about nonfiction audiobooks myself. And then obviously you have that same kind of enjoyment with an ebook as well.
Right, exactly. Okay, so we have another one from you. What is that one?
This is a wonderful romantic comedy movie that I watched a long time ago. It's called Strictly Ballroom, and it's directed by Baz Luhrmann. You might remember him from Moulin Rouge, from the Claire Danes, Leonardo DiCaprio, Romeo and Juliet. This was one of his earlier movies when he was still in Australia, so it's an Australian movie. It's about ballroom dancers, professional ballroom dancers, and they have got those gorgeous costumes and everything, which are fun for me. But it's a really sweet romantic comedy about like an ugly duckling woman who kind of gets to step up and dance with like the handsome gentleman. And it's really sweet, and just the actors were not any big names. They really mesh well together, and at the end you're just like, yeah, I could see these two working out, So it's really a sweet movie, and if you're like romantic comedies, definitely check it out.
Well, and Hoopla also has a nice app that I use on my Roku. So I don't know if I'm going to watch Strictly Ballroom on it, but it is nice that you could have your Roku on your TV. I believe it's also on other smart TV devices and watch these movies. I believe only the movies are what you can watch through that app, the smart TV apps, but definitely it makes it more comfortable than maybe crouching over a laptop or something like that. And we'll stay a little bit cinematic with my pick. Star Wars Volume 1. This Star Wars comic book took place after Disney. Disney purchased Marvel, but they also purchased the Star Wars properties a few years ago, and they started up a new comic book series that is a lot of fun. It kind of fills in the gaps between the original movies. I believe the series is still ongoing, and there's actually several of these volumes of graphic novels on Hoopla. So I enjoyed it as a Star Wars fan. It's kind of fun to go back and follow the characters and see what they were doing between the films, and I would recommend it. It's fairly all ages, just like the Star Wars movies. Maybe the young ones wouldn't get much out of it, but otherwise it's pretty broad appeal, I think. And that's, I think, all of our picks for Hoopla, and so we wanted to share just a little more information about how you can contact us to learn more about Hoopla and maybe some of the other resources we have. And there it is. I did it. I got the phone number up on the screen. So you can call us at 617-376-1102. That number is not staffed all the time, but when it's not staffed, you can leave a message, and we will be happy to get back to you to help you figure out anything you need from us at the library. You can also find us on thomascranelibrary.org. Now, we do have a chat function on there, so occasionally Eileen or I and one of the other librarians might be online, and there's a little piece at the bottom of the screen that you can click on. It'll say chat now. Click on that, you type in a question, and one of us will respond to you live. And always Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow us on there. And I think that's going to do it for today for Hoopla. Thank you all for joining us. And, of course, thank you, Eileen.
Well, thank you, Paul. This was fun.
Yeah, it was great. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya. Bye.